from the News Channel 5 Network and Out and About newspaper. This is Out and About Today, sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Welcome to Out and About Today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brent Meredith. We always open and close by thanking you for watching, and that's not just a hollow sentiment. We hope that anyone who lands on our show will leave learning something new or having an existing belief challenged. With the media and our community under heavy assault on both the local and national stage, we really feel the heat here at Out and About Today. And it's with that in mind that I'm joined by my co-host Pam, Out and About Nashville Editor James Grady, and Nashville LGBT Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Lisa Howe for tonight's Buzz About. Now, all four of us encourage you to continue these conversations with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, and anyone else willing to talk face to face and truly listen to one another. We need more of that, and more meaningful exchange and mutual understanding will help us. So let's get started right now, guys. Thanks for that soapbox time. I appreciate it.
I know it's so serious, Brent.
It was. Well, let's fix that. Let's make it not serious, although that's going to be hard with these topics.
Yes.
So our first topic tonight is fake news. Is this fake news? Are we real? You're
We'll
real, right?
see.
Well, I have a clip I want you guys to take a look at. This is Don Lemon from CNN kind of explaining what he believes fake news to be and is kind of what I believe it to be. So let's watch that and talk about it on the backside.
I think this is fake news. This is not a news story. Don,
tell me what about it is fake, Paris. We're going to go. Are we going down this road again?
Yeah, we are.
Come on, Paris.
I didn't interrupt any of you all. Let me just tell you why. The president is not breaking any laws, and he's not doing anything. It's not his
okay,
fault.
Paris, hold on. Let me ask you this.
No.
Let me ask you. I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to let you finish. Do you actually know what the definition of fake news is?
What we're doing right now?
No, okay. Well,
because
then you are part of the fake news because you are on the network and you're part of the.
No.
Fake news is when you. Hang on. Let me explain to people out there watching and you what fake news is. Fake news is when you put out a story to intentionally deceive someone and you know that it is wrong. I don't know of anyone who has put out a story in the mainstream media that I can think of right now to intentionally deceive anyone. Now, people get things wrong. Sources sometimes empty, but no one that I know has put out anything to intentionally deceive someone. This story that we're doing right now is not to intentionally deceive anyone. We are simply talking about the cost to keep a president safe, the Secret Service cost, and what are the pros and the cons, and as Andre said, and if there are ways that we can maybe able to work on that to make it fiscally better for the American people. There is nothing fake about that. Please stop it with that stupid talking point that it is a fake news story. If you don't want to participate in the news stories on this network, then don't come on and participate. But don't call them fake because you don't agree with them. Go on.
Don, this is a fake news story, in my opinion, because the underlying
Paris,
assumption
thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Good night, all.
Thanks, Don.
All right.
He told him.
He told him and then cut him off. What do y'all's take? Do you agree with his definition, Pam? I mean, is what Don said what you believe?
It is what I believe.
Okay.
But I think you can't talk to the folks who want to keep reiterating fake news. You're not going to convince them it's not fake news.
Right. James,
he did exactly the right thing. Shut him down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to call something fake, why are you there?
Right. Well, and Lisa, I saw your face kind of light up when he came back again and said, "In my opinion, this is fake news." Like he didn't get it. What's your take on all of that?
Well, I mean, that was a debate, and he had the opportunity to present his side, and to just. He missed an opportunity to present his side because he was, he wasn't just...
By sticking to that talking point, of fake news, Pam.
Well, I just want to bring up your open where you're encouraging us all to have conversations with people who don't share our opinions on things. And I'm just curious, because I think when you get to the extremes, the conversations, you're not moving anyone. That's been my experience.
No, you're right. And here, let me say this real quick, and I want to get your thought on this, because this is something I think is interesting to differentiate. So what Don was saying was what he perceived and what most of the news media perceived to be fake news definition. But now the other side is saying that it's fake news because it's not really news. Not so much that it's not real or didn't happen, but maybe we should be talking about something else. It's not important. Is that a fair assumption? Does that play into what you were thinking? Like, how do you talk about something when clearly they look at it from two different perspectives? And
well, we can all rank things that are important, but that's not what we're talking about here. Yeah, it's just another smoke and mirrors.
Okay, James.
Yeah. I mean, this just putting them away as fake news isn't a way of saying that's not a real story. You know, you could say that about any human interest story, but what they're really trying to do is they're following the same playbook as Stalinists or fascists anywhere will do, which is discredit the media, claim that what they're doing is fake, and then claim that your propaganda line is the only true news out there, and we end up with one narrative and no truth.
Well, and you're right. I mean, and I remember growing up years and years ago, before sort of 24-hour news networks and this fake news, it was the president, the cost to move the president around was something that was reported on because we're all paying for it. So to say that's not fake or isn't important seemed a little bit, like you said, let's just change the commentary. And how is something fake in your opinion? I don't get that either. But anyway, we could talk all day.
We're going to have a lot more conversations about fake news.
Well, and that's what worries me is that, like what James was saying, is that people are going to assume that fake means, just not important instead of fake. But anyway, let's move on to our next topic. We've got a couple minutes left. So lobbying and protests at the Tennessee State Capitol. We've seen a lot of this, a lot already. TEP is increasing its efforts like crazy. The We Are Watching group is out there. Help me with the Power Together Tennessee group is out there. What do you think how will all this affect the midterm elections is what I'm trying to say. Will all of this have some effect? James, you're shaking your head like, duh.
It will. I don't think it's going to have the effect that we want it to, because I think this is Tennessee. What people are going to see is protesters not letting elected officials speak. They're going to see people yelling, and they're going to hear, outside of the Nashville bubble, people are going to hear the Beavers Pody party line. Yeah. And I think I think in Tennessee, it's not going to help us.
But Lisa, you've got the same look on your face that I have sometimes when I'm thinking about this. Is this? They often say, well, you're not my constituent, or you're not in my district or whatnot. But I mean, a lot of these bills affect everyone in Tennessee. So is there some reason why they still should not listen, regardless of the tactics?
Right. No, they get caught up in re-election rather than worrying about people who live in Tennessee right now and how this is going to affect them. But historically the trend is that once everything gets loaded up, Republican, or even if it's the other way on the left, that we do swing back. So hopefully, and if people go out to vote the way we have seen people march and the way we have seen people demonstrate, at least those closer counties and cities have a chance to come back more moderate, at least.
Yeah. James?
Some don't.
I think the real advantage that we gain is that these people realize that they're not going to be simply allowed to go around treating everyone the way they want to and railroading these sorts of things. They have to come to Nashville. Right.
And the reason I bring all this up is it does seem obvious, but at the same time we want to encourage those doing it to not feel as though that the efforts thwarted against them or somehow their voice isn't going to be heard. And I think we've got to go to break, but we'll come back and talk some more. I'm sorry to cut you guys off, but after the break we'll be right back with more hot topics on Buzz About. So stay with us.